that the little magic sound to say we're recording?
We're good to go.
Oh, okay. Good morning, everybody. It's 8:32 a.m. and in this team's call for this mayor manager meeting is Linda Olson, Dan Harvey, Jay Trusky-Reed, Nathaniel Sierra, and Shawn Lewis.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
We'll start with May 17th, the study session. We've got a discussion with the Historic Preservation Commission about the landmarks program and whether to incorporate that into our Title 16 work. So this is council's opportunity to weigh in on that, and then we'll be incorporating it into the larger rewrite. And then legislation tracking. This is just to ask council if they're interested in looking at some of the legislation that's coming down. Tim Dodd will be presenting that. Study session on well, this is actually coming off the flag policy. It looks like after discussions with our city attorneys, we are going to keep the status quo in terms of flag policy, just because cities have gotten crosswise with free speech folks in terms of the flags that are put up. So I would recommend just leaving that as an administrative policy that we only allow the federal, state, and local flags.
We only need a 5-minute discussion on that. I don't think we need much more than that.
Okay.
What do you think? Yeah, I mean, I think it's really straightforward and just leave it at that.
Yes, and certainly we can do that. We could also take it completely off if you're, but we can.
Well, I'm fine with taking it off and just sending out the memo and saying this is what was determined, and so this is what we're going to go with. How about you, Nathaniel?
I agree with that. I'm not sure if it really warrants a conversation at this point.
Okay, we can do that, and I'll work with the legal team to get that to you all.
And we could put together a memo that kind of gives an overview of our thinking on that for council.
Great. And then we've got the proclamation approval policy. This is just kind of a, how do we proceed forth with council review and consent on proclamations. We do have special recognition to start the regular items of the meeting for Nancy Winnig, who is the 18th Judicial District Attorney's Office. She's been awarded an award that I can't remember, like something victim of the year, victim's assistant. Oh, there we go, advocate of the year. And then we have a motion to award contract to HCR for final engineering design. And, the 2021 budget supplemental number 5. This is just to do what you already did, which was approve the use of some of those funds to be used on the Parks and Recreation Trust Fund, I believe. 2021 budget supplemental transfer for the restorative justice. So when we did the budget in 2020, for 2021 at the end of 2020, you all put the money for restorative justice into your budget. Well, I should say maybe staff did that. And now that we've decided where that's going to land organizationally, it's going to be in the municipal court. So we just need to do a transfer from city council budget to municipal court. And then CB20, a second amendment to intergovernmental agreement between CDOT and the city for the Dartmouth Avenue Bridge. CB19, code update to allow budget advisory committee to review annual capital improvement plan. Approval of the intergovernmental agreement with CDOT for the design and construction of West Dartmouth Avenue multimodal safety project. CB18, IGA with CDOT for Floyd and Elodie intersection. And intergovernmental joint cooperation agreement and home consortium agreement with Arapahoe County for our home dollars. CB16, bill for an ordinance to establish local process for campaign finance compliance. And then a discussion on in-person meetings. Mayor, we thought we would put that under mayor's choice.
Why do we keep doing that? When we have study session at the beginning, we could certainly put there. But I mean, I don't mind it being there either, but I'm just wondering why we put it there. Is it because we have to take a vote, or it doesn't really matter anyway, does it?
You know, I'm not sure. I guess we kind of did that started those conversations at Mayor's Choice or Council's Choice.
Well,
So we can definitely put it at study
Aren't we
session.
kind of working through how I mean, we're coming back, so it's just figuring out exactly how and when,
Yes.
right?
I think it's an excellent idea to put it as a study session.
Yeah. And will we have enough info on where we are? I mean, we kind of, everything changes every couple weeks, thankfully, but
Yeah, I know
info from our attorneys on what we have to do inside and how to interpret the orders.
Yes, I know Catherine with Hoffman, Parker, Wilson, Carberry is working on that, a memo for you all on that.
Right.
As well as our staff. Dan, do you know when that might be done, actually?
I don't offhand. I guess let's put it this way. When would you need it? And then I can kind of, you know.
Well, I'd like to include it in this agenda packet, and that goes out this Thursday at the latest.
Okay.
So
Let me.
have it this week.
Yeah, let me check in with Catherine. Let her know that timeline, and I don't see why we wouldn't be able to get it to you by then.
Okay. Jade, were we at the bottom of that list?
We were, sorry, I'm just making a note about that.
Great.
Quick. Sorry.
So Mayor, do you want to assign times to these?
Sure. We think we need 30 minutes to talk about Historic Preservation Commission. That's what we talked about the last time, huh? Are we
Yep,
trying to just?
That's the time that we've had assigned. But we can adjust that if needed.
I do think that's realistic, just because it's a significant policy shift.
Okay. Okay, and this has got all the attorney backing on it and everything. We understand what's going on with this.
Yes, and it's an ordinance that many cities have.
Great. Leave it the way it is then. Legislation tracking. Yeah, this one's interesting because we've never really done this. And it would be really helpful. Like, I know there are things going through CML right now with the lobbying, and we don't ever get updates on that. And our CML person, I don't think really gets clear updates from CML either.
Yes. But, you know, I don't know if it'll take too much time, maybe 10 minutes.
Okay. You're going to give us a process to track, and then, yeah, whether we want to take a stand on things or not, is that also part of it, or just
Correct.
giving us updates? Okay. All right. Proclamation approval policy.
Well, looks like we've already assigned time to that.
Yeah. Return to in-council meetings. How long will that take to present, do you think?
I think 5 minutes.
It'll be a lot of question and answer probably of,
Correct.
how does this work? How does that work? So when do you all have plexiglass already going into the community room?
Yes, we do.
When will that be ready?
By June 7th.
Okay.
I think it's going to be before that, but that's our drop dead date.
Okay. Okie dokie. So maybe, I don't know, 20 minutes? 30 minutes? Penny, what do you think?
I actually don't think it's gonna go that long. I think it's
Yeah.
gonna go maybe 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes.
Let's put 20 on there so
Okay.
that we have enough, and I mean, it doesn't really matter.
Hey, Shawn, we got an email yesterday about, well, it seemed like there was a kind of like a call to action, but there was no action within the email. Was I reading that email correctly?
I think it was in the next to last paragraph. It was just asking to let us know if you intend to return in person or return virtually. And so the reason why we're asking that before we ask you other questions is we have to order our technology company that we're contracting with has to order a monitor for each person, like they're going to appear on a screen instead of in person if they choose to do that. Now, at the council meeting, when we discuss return to in-person meetings, you all may want to say all or nothing. I don't know, but we got the impression you wanted to give an option of virtual or in person.
Right. Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah, I think you interpreted that right, Shawn. So I think that's smart because if somebody gets sick, and needs to be quarantined, then still they would like to participate.
True. Yeah, so that's one of many questions, but yeah, kind of a foundational one. And it also determines how we set the room up as well. All right, looks like we got times on those. Do we want to move on to the next meeting?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. We have board and commission interview discussion. Now, how is this different from what was last night?
Last night was the UDC steering committee interviews.
Gotcha.
And then this is for all the board and commission appointments that'll have vacancies.
Thank you. I had that exactly opposite dates. And then on June 7th,
last night was kind of phenomenal because it was pretty easy going.
Good. June 7th, we've got consideration of property owner request for alley paving in the 3900. This is the LID, Local Improvement
Can we
District.
go back to the 24th for a minute? How many do we have now total? Did we still have 20?
Currently have 22 applicants.
Okay. And everyone said to just do it on one night.
Yep, everyone was fine with it happening that night, and we didn't have anyone that was opposed to
Right.
the.
Thank you. I remember that from the email now too.
All right. We have the paving request. We have Zunai on-street bike lanes project overview. That's actually an extension of the bike lanes that City of Denver is doing. And but we do need to talk to council a bit about it. There is some parking in that industrial area that goes away.
Can we just put in discussion times now? No, sir.
Sure.
We're only at 8:45. How long do you think that will take us to talk about? This is that alley paving one.
Is this the alley paving one? The LID? Jade, can you expand? Do you have any more on this?
It says follow up from April 26th meeting.
Okay. Yeah, so it is the LID, the Local Improvement District.
And just for just clarification from what we've been doing on that, we're actually going to have a memo and then kind of suggesting an alternative to creation of a LID, and then also a proposed agreement. So the idea being that we have the option of creating a LID, but because it only has to do with one property, we've kind of come up with the alternative that we've discussed with staff about just entering into an agreement with this landowner.
Another funding opportunity.
Right. The idea is that it's my understanding that this landowner is fine with paying for the entire improvement itself. So we think that there's a benefit in actually entering into an agreement rather than creating a LID for one property.
Yeah.
In any case, I'm gonna putting together a memo and the agreement itself.
Okay. I don't think that discussion should take more than 10 to 15 minutes. Do you, Daniel?
Yeah, I agree. Probably about 15 minutes. I don't think the presentation will take 10 minutes, but
Yeah. Well, I don't know. What are you?
no, it's fine. It's just like because we've already gotten over
Dan,
it.
how long will your presentation be on this, or someone's?
I think our overview would be pretty quick. I mean, we're also going to send a memo too. They should probably provide a lot of background.
Good.
On the differences. So I wouldn't anticipate it to be too long. Probably 10 minutes is probably appropriate.
Okay. Public meeting is scheduled for 6:18. So this is for Public Works to talk with us about.
Yeah, so we're partnering with the city of Denver to install bike lanes on Zuni. And so it's affecting both cities. We've had to negotiate a bit because they were taking all of our parking, so it's now a little more split, but we do want council just to be aware of the project. They're taking, I think, from Evans down to, they want to take it to Evans down to Dartmouth, the bike lane, which we're supportive of, but we do want council to know about it and weigh in.
Okay. What, we're discussion 10 minutes or?
I think so.
I like this next one.
I apologize. This is updated and it will be updated, but the description is incorrect at this moment.
Thank you, Jane.
Yes. Apologize for that.
And I think that'll take a good 30 minutes at least.
We were
Maybe.
able to talk to the council liaison to that board, which is Joe, and he also liked the concept.
Is that a 30-minute discussion?
Maybe not, maybe it's only like 15, but just, you know, what do you think, Nathaniel?
I don't know if there's more to this, but it seems a pretty simple switch to me. So I would think, yeah, 10-15 minute discussion tops. Unless I'm missing something.
Well, this is a new council. I mean, a different council, because in the past, councils were not willing to do this.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yep. And people were, yeah, different liaisons were hesitant about it, just thinking, no, there's too much there. And I just think this is a perfect group to do this. Rezoning. That looks fun. So they're gonna, how much, really only a 10-minute, this is just a rezoning, not an update on.
No, because council's already authorized us to proceed forth with their rezoning. I mean, not to do it, but to undertake the process. So we're well into the process with Planning and Zoning Commission, and this is just to bring it to you before the code is actually, before it comes to you as an actual rezoning. We almost didn't put this on study session. The department felt like it had already been discussed enough with council, but and we can take it straight to first reading, but I thought it might be beneficial to have a discussion one more time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm fine either way, though.
What?
I am fine either way if you want to take it to first reading.
No, I think we should have a discussion because even like right now while I'm thinking about it, I probably have a couple questions, so.
Great.
So is there any update on the redevelopment?
No, we're working through the several things within the DDA. There's an IGA that's coming, that's being prepared between the city and the DDA, which you all will need to do. Of course, we've got the TIF discussion to have with council. In city center, you know, you just redid the agreement with, I think, both the master developer and maybe the legal firm. I'm trying to remember which of those you just did agreements with. But we don't have a lot of movement, you know, in terms of properties about to change hands, et cetera.
Okay.
But this is an important step. You may remember that this was kind of one of those 3 or 4 kind of critical paths that we have to get figured out in order, we think, to make this a viable redevelopment site, because the zoning is just not appropriate at this point.
Sounds good.
So anything, well, how much time on the rezoning?
15 minutes.
Go ahead, Dan.
I was gonna say 10, 15 minutes. Because we have discussed it quite a bit, so mine
We
are
have.
just clarification questions.
I don't even know what to ask anymore, so I'll be curious what you ask. I just don't want to have this idea that there's going to be a whole update on the redevelopment and there's really nothing to say. So maybe it's just updating it's in a rezoning process. But if there's more to be told, then great. Nice.
All right. So moving on to Board and Commission appointments resolution for the first regular item. We'll have the Pollinator month.
Hang on a second. I just realized that we're going until 9:40 and we most likely will not be able to make a decision. Do you think, Nathaniel, do we want to stay?
I was wondering that as well, like, we
22
went to
people.
8:40 last night and I was done. So adding another hour after that would be.
Yeah, and too many people. I mean, last night was just only 14. This
That's
is
true.
22 to sort through in our brains. So I don't think we'll be ready to make it, to get consensus on the meeting night. So maybe
That's true.
following.
Jade, we have more applicants than positions available, correct? Including the,
I want to say that's correct, but I will double check and confirm.
Yeah.
for sure.
yeah, well, I agree with you, Mayor. I think we need to add another time slot on here.
So probably
Oh, wait.
we gotta move. We need to move back up and put it in there somewhere, right?
Well, we actually, I think I think we have a line item for. Yeah, there's the line item on. So we're gonna move that to June 21st is what we're saying now?
Well, if you, so that would be the next regular meeting, following this meeting, so we could move this to the 21st and then we can add a discussion time during the study session area for the 7th or even possibly the 14th.
No, well, yeah, there you go. Well, the 7th I think would be fresh if we could do it shortly after we've made our. It's 24th, right? Is it the 24th we're interviewing?
We are,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So there is a week in between there too of the 5th Monday as well, just so you know.
Yeah, with the, yeah, for sure, let's do it on the 7th so we don't all forget. Is that, yeah, that isn't too much, is it? And then was there something from last night that needs to be included somewhere? No, because we already, yeah, we have to actually put on our regular meeting appointing these people to that UDC committee.
Right.
And Jade, was it you on last night or Jackie? Sorry if I've forgotten.
It was actually Nancy.
Oh,
Nancy
Nancy.
was the
So
first meeting, that meeting. Yep.
do you think she has the list of who we decided on?
Yes, and I'm going to actually reach out to her after this meeting to get that all pulled together.
Okay,
So,
because I have it too, but I don't, if she has it, I won't worry about it. But yeah, if she needs clarification, let me know. But it was. All right.
sorry. So we'll have the discussion for following the 24th move to the 7th. We'll have the resolution for boarding commissions to be moved to the 21st. Or that resolution will fall on the 7th.
All right, ready to move on?
Yes.
All right, on regular topics, we have Pollinator Month Proclamation, public hearing to discuss. Well, and just a comment on Pollinator Month, we did include in your background the Cherry Hills Village proclamation, and we simplified it as requested. So it's now a little bit shorter than Cherry Hills, but yep, tried to make that a little more straightforward. We've got a public hearing to discuss direct election of mayor. Park improvements, construction award of contract, audiovisual modernization for streaming in person and virtual city council meetings. This is the contract for that, for the full-blown council rebuild. SCADA virtualization at Allen Water Treatment Plant. Award of contract to Colton Steel for the 2021 Zone 4 alley grading stabilization project. This will include your extra the million that you put into this. And so I think it was $1 million. And so we were planning on being able to do the entire city now with the money we already had in the budget plus the supplemental. Framework agreement with LNR. So this is basically for the former Weingarten properties. We've got have been negotiating and discussing, what the plans that LNR has, the investment company has for those properties, and we're trying to get that put to bed right now. Approval of an IGA for the Tri-Cities Homelessness Plan of Action, and MOU between City of Inglewood and Colorado State Patrol for license plate recognition. And it looks like we've got almost all of those on consent, with the exception of the public hearing and the MOU with Colorado State Patrol.
I think it sounds fine. I know that intergovernmental agreement on Tri-Cities might be hopefully. We just have other cities. No, I think we should be able to do it under consent, but it might get pulled. Who knows? I just said other cities have agreed to join with us to pay for it. It's not very much money. You could have just done it on your own.
Right.
You would have never brought it to us.
Right.
And I think that just needs to be in the memo.
Okay.
That this wouldn't have been even brought to us, except that the other cities have agreed to help pay for it.
Right. Okay. On June 14th, we have a budget workshop, study session. Let's see. 2020 audit financial statements review. US 85 PEL update, WIFIA loan update, and that's for utilities funding, sidewalk gap prioritization, and organized garbage and recycling collection request for proposals content review.
So I know there was concerns about this meeting, especially because there's a lot of really hefty topics that are currently scheduled on this guide. I did reach out to Maria DeAndrea. She did confirm that these two dark blue items are fine to be moved. The only one that she requested probably stay there is the organized garbage and recycling collection, just because they've had to push it a few times, and so she feels like this they're ready to go ahead and move forward with this guide. And then for the dark blue or the lighter blue items, these were very recently added. So I think we may have a little bit of flexibility for these two. If you guys do decide to move items off of this, or if we decide to do the 2022 budget workshop on another date, we're happy with however you would like to move forward, but I just wanted to give you an update on the items that we currently have.
Well, if we did the budget thing on another date, we'd just get off schedule, wouldn't we?
We've already pushed that one back. It was supposed to be on the 24th.
Of May, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to leave that one there. And then the financial statements for that's the audited, okay.
I would think let's move those. Well, because we only have one item on the 21st, right?
Yeah, I just want to remind us that on June 28th, that's the celebration for Citizen of the Year. So that's not really a meeting unless we're going to move it to, or were we going to, normally those things are a celebration at the Malley Center. And we don't have any business at all. Doesn't mean we can do it. We can do it differently. So the EPA thing, it's due on the 15th. Is this really a discussion or it's a?
Which
We have,
one?
these, don't we? The EPA application.
Yes, I know we do need some guidance from council because we had talked about bonding all of this, but we
Mhm.
think that going for a WIFI loan will actually be long-term much better. Number one, you don't start paying interest on it until you withdraw the money, as opposed to a bond, which you immediately start paying on. There is a pretty hefty application fee, but it's no different really than what you would pay for setting up a bond system. So we don't want to make these huge decisions without some feedback from council.
It seems like that one needs to stay there then. Like all the, yeah, all those blue things. Well, and the organized garbage thing needs to stay too.
Yes. And the other thing we can do on the budget workshop is split that into 2 meetings.
Okay.
We do that.
Okay. Half on the 14th and half on the 21st?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's do that. I won't be there on the 21st. That's fine. I can listen to it.
So how long would we like to limit, I guess, the 2022 presentation time for the 21st? Or I guess, is there a limit that you guys like to impose? Like, we only want to discuss this item for an hour, 2 hours, or?
I'm thinking
Oh.
2 hours because the presentation for the RFPs for the single hauler already says 30 minutes. And we're trying to limit, we want to be done closer to or before 10 o'clock, I guess was the conversation we had as a council. So I would say 2 hours. I'm guessing the garbage and recycling will probably be 30 minutes discussion as well. So that's another hour.
It's just a request for the proposal content though. Isn't it? Or I guess maybe. Really?
It is, but it does guide, what you end up going with in terms, I mean, it determines what you get back in terms of the proposals, meaning, do you want composting? Do you want curbside pickup for bulk items?
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
it's kind of important from that standpoint.
Shawn, are we able to get information prior to that meeting about why that committee wasn't happy with the original responses to the RFPs? Just so we could get some, I don't think that came back in front of council once it got pulled back. So I'm just want to get their understanding as well. Just as much information as possible.
Yeah, we can get that. I was thinking that Maria might have touched on that in a presentation, but
Yeah, I think she did.
you can put
Yeah,
it in the memo.
I think that they didn't ask questions about things like composting or some other things. So I don't think it was broad enough. And different alley possibilities. I don't know.
I guess
Yes,
as part of
that's
that
right.
summary, just give some guidance on what
We
was
just
wrong with the first RFP.
reattach it to the memo.
Mhm. Do it. All right, anything else on this meeting?
No, so did we decide that the ones in blue are going to be moved to the 21st?
Oh, I thought we were,
Or are we going to keep those on?
I thought we were keeping them because they were time sensitive. I mean, I don't know how, so the budget workshop, how long was it supposed to be on the 14th? 3 hours?
The only
Goodness.
time, yeah, the only time estimate I've been given is several hours.
Good grief.
I know.
Yeah, Jade, let's bump this down to an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
if we have to split this three times.
Yeah.
But
That's what I think would be better. And then audited financial statements, that only takes 10 minutes and 10-minute questions, right?
yes.
And well, it's the 2020 audited, so maybe there's going to be more. I don't know. And Maria needs recommendations on this, right? She's just updating us.
I think it's more just an update.
It's just an update. I'd say 5-minute discussion, maybe. She presents and then 5 minutes. It's underway, so.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, we're already putting all the times in all the way into June.
No, this is,
It's
yeah,
kinda
we can
nice.
at least work with it, yeah.
We can always just kind of breeze through it then and see if we're, yeah.
Would you possibly like to do the sidewalk gap prioritization to the 21st?
Sounds like it's a dark blue. She said it can't move, right?
No,
those are
it can.
flexible.
Those ones are flex, yeah,
Flexible.
yeah,
I'm
these are the
sorry.
first ones I would recommend moving, and then these
Yes.
guys are the second tier, I
Second one.
guess.
Oh, okay, I got that backwards, sorry. Yeah, move them. Move them all to June 21st. Make that meeting long.
You're gonna miss out on important information, Mayor.
Oh, I'll listen. I always listen. I just will promise Joel I won't be listening that night.
I'll put together a quiz.
Okay. You do a Jeopardy with it, right? Jeopardy game and all.
So I'm sorry, I just want to clarify, did you want both of those blue items moved or just the one?
Yes. Matter of fact, you can move the loan application too.
It's one that's like, it's like slightly flexible, so if we only move it, we'd only be able to move it this one time.
No, let's keep
So-
those. I think we're good there. I think
I
the way
also
that
fine now.
all right.
Yeah.
Stop trying to push everything to the 21st.
Okay. So all those guys there,
Great.
Are we good?
all right.
Yep, I think we're good to go. And
And
then
then
down on the 28th, we just really had, so it's the plan, so is the plan to go ahead and try and do that at the Malley Center?
so
Could also
that
do
was,
it outside.
so that was just one of the things I was like asked to try and get some more guidance on, from you, if that works. So you guys are wanting to do the Malley Center.
Yeah, I think if we can do the Malley Center, the whole thing will be what the regulations are for the health, the health orders at that point. It's end of June. Let's hope it's as good as it looks like it could be, but if not there, then we need to have an alternative. Outside seems like it's showing that really outside is absolutely fine.
Any other feedback for that, citizen recognition event?
So usually there's contact with the person, and I don't know how the staff has done this in the past, but usually someone talks with, the person, so Nathan, and find out who do they want to be there. Usually they speak, usually their family members and members of the community that have nominated them get up and say some things about him. It's a celebration of him. It'll be very embarrassing for him. He will not like the focus. I'll say something. Anybody else on council that wants to speak can too. Anybody, yeah. So, and it's usually about an hour. We haven't done one of these in a while. I guess the last one was
2 years ago.
years ago. Yeah, who was it? Yeah.
Giles?
Who?
Giles?
No,
No.
that was not since we have gone in COVID. And before that, we haven't done one in the traditional way. The guy who was on council before and works with Family Tree. Not works with, but is on their board. Oh,
I want to say Bill, but I always forget the name.
yeah, Bill. Geez, sorry, my brain. Forgot to take my memory pill.
So that was nice.
All right, are we done?
I do have two other items. Councilmember Anderson reached out and I forwarded to the clerk for a distribution of proclamation that he's entitled Freedom Proclamation for July. And so he was requesting that for the last meeting in June. I did remind him, that we have the process that's coming to you all at the next meeting. But if he wanted to kind of follow the old process based on when he was submitting that we would send it out just like we would the other ones. But he was looking at that for the last meeting in June.
Well, we don't, okay, so it'd have to be the 21st. That we would make the proclamation then.
Yes, that would be for, well, yeah, this is the tricky part because we don't know what the new process looks like.
Just put a question mark by them to see, yeah, just so we have it earmarked it.
So would you like me to still distribute that this week to council for review or no?
I think, so we're talking about proclamations this coming week, right?
Yes.
I guess. Now let's keep them separate, right? Because we have time to actually, let's talk about the process this week and then bring it back the next time. Does that make sense? Because I don't know what the process is going to be.
Okay, so I can hold off on sending out until we know for sure what our process will be.
What do you think, Mayor Pro Tem?
Sorry, I kind of missed part of that, but are we splitting the proclamations? Is that what you're saying? Because we're talking about it.
Well, we're talking about it this week, but Member Anderson wants to bring one up, and should we separate that so that we're not having them to make that decision the night of our talking, or we bring it, then we set the process.
Let's find out what the process is. Yeah, I would think.
And then the next time we bring back, then we'll know what the process is. It might be anything goes, whatever. I don't know, Yeah. We'll put that to the 21st of June.
Okay. Then the other item that I had was our sister city, Belm, Germany, reached out and they are proposing a youth exchange potentially, if we are interested in that, for 2022. That would be, students age 15 to 17 that we would take, 5 or so students to Germany, and then in the opposite year, then 5 to 7, 5 or so students would come from Germany to Inglewood, and it would be kind of a week long or 10 days something exchange where the groups of students are learning about the other city's culture. It's pretty similar to what I know the city of Longmont Sister Cities program did, and a lot of cities have these more kind of youth-oriented exchanges. But I didn't know if we should put that on a study session or what. We definitely, a lot of times cities give scholarships for that. I mean, like maybe council sets aside $5,000, $8,000, something for scholarships for that. So that would be something we could discuss as part of the budget process as well.
Yeah, I think that definitely should be put in the budget. So I think it should be there somewhere along the way. Yeah, I think that's exciting. We haven't had contact with that city since Rick Gillett was on. He was over in Germany, I believe, and visited them and brought back. I think that's what happened.
I think Eric Keck visited, didn't he?
Pardon?
I think Eric Keck visited the sister city, didn't he?
Oh, I don't remember that.
I mean, maybe on his own or something, but
yeah,
I don't know.
What was that?
What's the name of the city, the sister city?
Belm, B-E-L-M. I think it's in Bavaria.
Yeah, it is.
Cool.
You didn't know we had one, Nathaniel?
No, I had no idea.
Yeah, no, it's been a very, I think it very, very little. We had one someone visit us during my 12 years, and I was very embarrassed. We did not receive them well at all and didn't have anything set up. It was really, it was unfortunate. So let's just make sure we don't do that again.
Can we increase the age range to 40? Is that possible? Or 41?
Well, there's going to be
Depending on when this takes place.
at least one chaperone for every student sent, in my opinion. I actually ran 2 Sister Cities program, one for Abilene, Texas, and one for Huntsville, Texas. And we did the same thing. And I took 14 junior high kids to Japan. It's a nightmare. It was only a nightmare because it was only the popular parents went, and none of them wanted to like tell the kids what to do. So I had to be the bad guy the whole time. But I digress. I do think that this would be really, really cool.
I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I do too. I think, and it'll be nice to celebrate and be an open, hopefully out of COVID life, and be able to do something that celebrates. I think it's a great idea.
Okay, well, maybe I can work with Jade to plug that in somewhere.
Yep, I'll reach out.
All right, well, I don't have any, I mean, I've received some council requests, but nothing that came up during a meeting.
Okay. We don't have any executive sessions or anything that need to be coming up either.
We do. Dan, you may be able to speak to this better, but Linda, Corey Hoffman did ask that we put an executive session on next week.
Okay.
And I'm sorry that I failed to mention that at the beginning of the meeting. But I don't think that will take longer than 30 minutes.
Okay.
But it is to discuss potential litigation.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think that kind of covers it. And then probably there'll be more details in the executive session, but I think it should probably take around 30 minutes.
Will this be, will Corey Hoffman be attending this?
Yes.
Yeah. So I believe actually Corey is going to be covering that meeting.
Okay.
So that will be at the end. We'll put it at the end of the meeting like we normally do for something like that.
Okay.
I don't know why I thought there was another one regarding hiring, but we're done. We hired our city. We don't have, so we have any others? Oh, do we have anything on sale of land? Maybe that's what I was thinking of.
Well, we're still collecting that information, and if depending on how that comes back, and the information that council requested in executive session, we're compiling.
Okay.
And depending on how that comes back, we may just take that directly to open session.
Okay.
But so far we don't have that set yet, but good to remember it's on the back burner.
All right. Sounds good. I think we're finished then.
Sounds good.
All right. It's 9:20 and this mayor manager meeting is adjourned. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank
Thanks
you.
to you.
We're going.